Okay, welcome back. Now, you might notice I didn't total this up yet because there was one thing I forgot to mention in the last video, and that is, of course, we have to calculate the debit balance. Well, it'll be on the credit side for a start because it'll be balance carried down here, but it will become the new debit balance over here. So that's why I call it a debit balance. So I did calculate it while we were in between the videos, but just to show you where I got it from and how we calculated it. I didn't write it in yet. So basically, we calculate it in the same way that we normally balance any ledger account. You just add up both sides, and really, since we have the balance here, we should find that this side over here, the credit side, is smaller than the debit side over here. So we add them both up. Whichever is the bigger side, that becomes your total. So the bigger side is going to be this side here when we add them up. Whoops. And the total I got when I added these up was 171,550. So of course this side has to have the same total, 550. And then whatever we got for the total here, if I subtract it from this 171,550, it gives me my balance carried down at the end. So I'm going to tell you what I got when I calculated it was 83,060, and that's your balance carried down. Now again, if you want, and maybe it's just a good idea, this is at the end of the year, so 31st of the 12th 16, 31st of the 12th 16. It's a good habit to get into, even though it's not necessarily or necessary. Okay, so that's the debtors control account. Let's move quickly onto the creditors control account. We've already identified what goes into a creditors control account, all the ones here that don't have any ticks, as well as this contra entry which goes into both accounts. Okay, so let's start at the top. The creditors balance, or creditors ledger balance, credit side 43,300. 43,300, and we'll put in the date, 1st of the 1st, 1st of the 1st, what year is it? 16. Balance carried down. Okay, and then on the next one is the creditors ledger debit balance, 240. 240, 1st of the 1st, 16. Carried down. Okay, now just to remember that creditors ledger control account is all about purchases and money that you owe to your creditors. You being Mary Burke, you are Mary Burke, and it's the money that you owe from purchases that you made from your suppliers or your creditors. And it works in the opposite way to the debtors control, in that the more money you owe, or anything that increases the amount owed, goes on the credit side this time. Anything that decreases the amount owed goes on the debit side. Okay, so let's see what we've got here first. Returns outwards are purchases returns. Well, purchases returns will reduce the amount you owe, won't it? If you return the goods, so it goes on this side. So what are we talking about? 350. Returns outwards. Okay. Next one is, if we go 2, we've done those three. Discount received. Well, if you receive a discount, it reduces the amount you owe, isn't it? 1,300 and what was it? 20. Received. Okay, where were we? Discount received. Purchases, including cash purchases. So just like the cash sales, we don't want to include cash purchases. So 5,600 from this is 80,700, I'm going to say. So purchase 80,700, and of course it increases the amount you owe if you purchase goods on credit. 80,700. Purchases. Okay. Next one then is that's purchases. Bills, and I said bills reduce the amount of owed every time, so it's 4450. Bills, receivable, isn't it? We had Oh, sorry, bills payable. Did I 4 the right figure? Yeah, bills payable. Because it's money you'd be paying. It's money you owe we're talking about. Bills payable. Apologies for that. Okay. Now, there we go. Bills payable. Next one. Discount disallowed to Mary Burke. So you're Mary. If someone disallows a discount to you, it means that you're going to owe even more, isn't it? If your discount has been disallowed. So 330 on this credit side. Discount disallowed. Okay. Where were we? Over here, discount disallowed. Next one, checks paid to supplier. So if you paid some of your suppliers money off, that means you owe less because you've paid some of your debts. So on this side, 60,400, and we just say bank for checks paid. Okay, that was that one. Next one is this one that goes into both accounts. It's the contra entry, and as we said, the contra entry always reduces the amount that's owed by you or to you, either one. So 320 contra, and last one then is our creditors ledger balance, and it's on the debit side 630. So I'm going to put it right up here for this time. 630, 31st of the 12th, 16. Balance. Did I say balance carried down up here? Those should be brought down. Oh, apologies, it's early in the morning. Balance carried down. Excuse me, 630. Okay, and just like last time, we need to add all of these, both these sides up, and whichever is the bigger side, that's the total we're going to have in our creditors ledger control account. Now, obviously, if you're doing this correctly, there should be another balance carried down over here on the 31st of the 12th. So I'm just going to put that in anyway for the 31st of the 12th. 16, isn't it? Balance carried down, and I'm going to say. Oh yes, I'm going to add up the two of these and decide which is bigger. So give me a moment. I'm going to pause this and come back. Okay, welcome back. And after having added it up anyway, let's put in first of all the total of the bigger side. And the total of the bigger side is 124,960. 124,960. So this side also must have the same total, 960. And then if I add all of these up and subtract from this 124,960 to make sure that this side does indeed add up to 124,960, I get 57,880. Okay, and that's the question done, really, essentially. Now, what I would always do, just as a matter of course, even though there's no marks going for it, I always start off the following year. So, for instance, over here it'll be the 1st of the 1st, 17. Balance brought down, and this balance on the credit side moves over to the debit side for this, 83060, and 1st of the 1st, 17. Balance brought down, and it's this 450 that moves over here. Okay, and do the same for here. Let's see, our balance from here goes over here, 630, 1st of the 1st, 17. Although, are these? Oh, 1 second. Oh, sorry. This is the first time doing this question for me, so I didn't read it properly. I'm just looking at this. These control accounts, they're for January, they're for 1 month, in which case this should be 31st of the 1st, 31st of the 1st, 31st of the 1st, 31st of the 1st. So they're only for 1 month period, from the 1st of the January to the 31st of January. And so then this is really only the 1st of the 2nd, 16, the 1st of February, 16, 1st of February, 16, 630. 1st of February, 16. Balance brought down. Balance brought down. And what is it? 57880. Excuse me. Okay.